So, pelvic floor exercises for postnatal women. And this is a good thing to do pretty much as soon as you've had your baby. So you don't need to wait for 6 weeks. You can definitely start doing work with your pelvic floor on day one. And it might be a little bit less than what we're doing here. You might need to sort of stop after the first couple. But certainly getting some awareness of the pelvic floor is going to be really good. And what I'm going to do, I'll do a few of these videos, but this first one will be some of the basic stuff that we do in class. And I'm going to suggest, if you want to, that you do it in this sort of position here, where all the pressure is taken off the pelvic floor and you can really access it. The sit bones are nice and wide, the pelvic floor tissue is nice and long, and you can really access those muscles. Whilst I'm talking you through it, I'm going to be sitting up. Of course, you can also do these exercises sitting up as well if you want to, in any position. So we're going to start by bringing our awareness to the pelvic floor, to those muscles on the pelvic floor that are nice and broad and expansive when we relax. So you breathe in and you relax the pelvic floor, in through the nose, and you breathe out and you imagine those pelvic floor muscles coming in, squeezing in, and then lifting up. So you're squeezing and you're lifting up as you exhale. Inhaling, relaxing, and letting go. So you are breathing in to relax, you're exhaling, squeezing, and then lifting up at this sort of angle here, back up towards the mid-back. The vagina goes at this sort of angle rather than this sort of angle. So working with the breath, breathing in, we're relaxing, breathing out, we're squeezing. And you might feel your lower belly muscles really engaging when you breathe in, they relax. Pelvic floor relaxes when you breathe out. You're squeezing your pelvic floor and you'll feel all of this lower transverse abdominal muscle will be squeezing into. It's very natural and it's appropriate. So let's do that twice more. Breathing in to relax the pelvic floor tissue, exhaling. Imagine that you're sliding the sit bones towards each other, the pubic bone and the tailbone towards each other, and everything's lifting up. Good. Inhale, let that go. Great. Okay. So we want to make sure that you've done about 8 of those. And what you could do is you could pause the video and you could do another set of 8 if you wanted to. So that's a way of sort of building this up. The next thing we're going to do is some squeeze releases. So you're going to squeeze, as I click my fingers, those pelvic floor tissue, the pelvic floor tissue. And you want to be, this is about accessing the fast twitch muscles of the pelvic floor and really getting them responsive. So we're squeezing and releasing. Squeezing and releasing. And you might, I'm going to stop clicking now because I want you to go at your own pace. So you might be able to go quicker or you might have to go slower. Whichever speed you're going at, you won't be coordinating the breath with the squeezes because it's not appropriate. You just keep breathing and see if you can find, so you're breathing in, breathing out, and you're doing your clicks and your squeezes. You might be clicking to help you, you don't have to click. Squeezing completely, releasing completely. See if you can do a few more. Trying to get the front, middle and the back. We'll do some practices looking at front, middle and back. And actually this is suitable for pregnant women as well. Good, and we'll let that go. Okay, and then we'll do one more practice. We'll make this the last one in this little set. So again, you could stop and you could do that again, another little sort of set of those. And then the last one is the elevator exercise, and I do this in all my classes, it's so good. So we want to imagine there are 3 floors to our building. The ground floor, there's no tension in the pelvic floor. First there's about 30%, second 60%, and the top there's about, that's your full squeeze. So we work our way up, we work our way down. So you breathe in, pelvic floor's nice and relaxed. And as you breathe out, you squeeze the pelvic floor up to that first level, so a little squeeze. Stay there as you breathe in. And then you breathe out up to the second floor, squeezing up to the second floor. Stay there as you breathe in. And then squeezing all the way to the top. Exhaling at the top, all the way to the top. Good. And then breathe in down to the second floor again. So see if you can get back to second floor, 60% effort. Exhale as you stay there. Inhale down to the first floor, little squeeze still on. Exhale as you stay there. Good, and then inhaling all the way down to the ground. And then just as we finish the pelvic floor, so you could pause there and pause me and then do it again, okay? But what I would say is once you have finished entirely your pelvic floor exercises, it's incredibly important to make sure that everything is nice and relaxed. So we don't want to be finishing with the pelvic floor squeezed and then go off into our day with that hypertonic pelvic floor, really tight pelvic floor. It will not get strong. It will end up eventually weakening and then failing. So we want to make sure it's nice and relaxed. And then as we go about our daily life, we know that our pelvic floor is becoming stronger and stronger just as we live our life and as we do these exercises and as we get more into that postnatal period. If you're pregnant, of course, you just keep on with these practices and then you can continue them once you've had your baby. And then remember the most important thing before I finish off, remember what's important is a little bit of a squeeze when you're doing a bit of effort. So if you are about to cough, you might just little squeeze, cough just to kind of protect yourself. If you're about to push something heavy or lift something up heavy, you exhale and a little squeeze in order to get that work to happen safely, reducing the pressure inside the body and supporting the pelvic floor a little bit. So that's a good appropriate time to squeeze the pelvic floor. But apart from that, on a daily basis, most of the time we want to have the pelvic floor just relaxed, just like you would any other muscle of the body. You don't constantly have the biceps, squeezed all the time, and neither should you with the pelvic floor.